Hello and welcome everybody back to the Insider Galaxy podcast. I'm your host, Eric Hernandez. As always, we got to talk about our big win against RSL that happened to be last Wednesday. That is right. We won 3-2 against RSL, our first win after the Post Klein era. It was a pretty big win, pretty good fight overall. We're going to give our thoughts, our opinions on that match, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything you want to know about that game. And of course, we're also going to preview our next match, which is also against RSL in the US Open Cup. And we will also be doing another preview against St. Louis SC, which is on Sunday, and a very early game that day. So yeah, we have two previews for you today, but we got some things to talk about, some good things to talk about. And should be a good conversation. We're back on video. I got my camera working now. And let's just get right into it. And with me, as always, is my co-host, LA Galaxy Central. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad you got your camera to finally work. And I had some difficulty setting up with my microphone and stuff, but at least we got it to work now.
Yeah, I had to buy a full-on webcam because I guess just my whole phone thing and the application that I was trying to do just wasn't working. I mean, it had a good quality, like don't get me wrong. It was just the fact that it was super laggy, and at that
Yeah,
point, it was not good quality. But I mean, I got a webcam today. It looks good. It has good frame rate, everything like that. So, I mean, as long as y'all can see me and I'm not laggy, that's all I care about at this
that's
point.
great. Yeah.
And of course, got a new webcam. That's good. Small improvements to the show. And let's just get started right into the game. I guess enough of the whole camera talk. But yeah, like I said, we ended up winning RSL 3-2 last Wednesday. We got one goal by Brugman, one goal by Memo Rodriguez, which was a banger, and then you had one by Tyler Boyd, who ended up having a broken hand in that game. We got three. We got three goals. We also came back from a two. It was 2-1, and then we ended up scoring two more goals, which ultimately led to the 3-2. But yeah, you saw some fight. You saw some good things into this game. Things that we haven't seen at all from the Galaxy this season. So it was a really big step when you think about it and how the team like performed this week that game. And there was a lot of good things in this game. But I'll just start off with you, man. What were your thoughts about this game? How'd you feel about it?
Yeah, it was a really good game. Going to Salt Lake is always a tough place to play for anybody, and especially for us, it was a really good game. I mean, we started off pretty well. We got the goal right before halftime. We go in with the lead, and then unfortunately in the second half we go down a goal. You thought it would be all over there with what you've seen with the Galaxy. They seem to just fall apart every time they go down a game. And considering we can't really score goals on the road and we haven't came back, you thought the game was over. But then they came back, which is very surprising and very good to see. And it's a great team win overall. A lot of guys stepped up and they showed a fight that we had not seen earlier in the season, which was really good to see.
Yeah, I mean, that was the biggest thing, right? Was that well, I mean, there was a lot of big things when you came when you saw this Galaxy. One, we got a goal. We got not only did we get one goal away in an away game, we got three of them, and
No,
before that, we only had one.
all
the
season in
whole
like 7 games.
Yeah, so it's like that's already a big improvement. You mentioned the fight. I mean, we saw the 2-1. You thought, hey, you know what, the Galaxy might not come back. We've seen how this team gets. It's a very emotional team. Once they go down, they don't tend to really pick themselves up. And man, did they get themselves up in that after that second goal? I mean, again, two great goals. Obviously the one banger by Memo Rodriguez, and then you had the just a good build up play and counterattack from Tyler Boyd, who ended up finishing off that one. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of good in this game. A lot of players stepped up. Um, in this game, I think also this was a game where the subs really shined. I mean, of course, you had two guys who came off the bench and they scored, and overall, just the subs who went in did play well. I think Raheem also, when he came in, played well despite the foul that led to the second goal. I mean, he still played very well when he went in. I mean, there was a lot of guys who started who played good. There was a lot of guys who came on the game that played good. I mean, yeah, I mean, the overall you saw a lot of fight, a lot of effort into this game, and you know you can't go wrong with that. And especially right now, we need the points, and those were some massive points to get on the road.
That's just very surprising though that that's our first time all season scoring 3 goals. Like I'm just not used to going on that big of a goal drought for us.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit surprising. Like it didn't feel real in a sense. Like it almost just felt like again, we kind of said like what we've seen from the Galaxy before. It's like this is how the team is. this is their identity. They're just not going to be the best team. But then when you saw this performance, you're like, okay, like I see some good. There's some good things, and I've kind of mentioned it before. I think this team does have a bit of talent. It's just the like it's a bit of lack of talent, but also the lack of like effort sometimes, and the expectation some of these players have. And in that game, you saw some people excel their expectations, and that's some good things that you saw. I mean, and a lot of players that really excelled. There were some that didn't really excel, but we'll get into that when we talk about players. But unless you want to talk about the players, I mean, there was a lot of good in this one, a lot of bad. I mean, do you want to talk about the players? Anybody that stood out to you?
I mean, one more point from the game though, like when we went down 2-1, like I think all of us fans just thought like it was over. I don't know if you thought that, but I really thought it was over at that point because
I
every
felt
time
it.
we go down a goal, we just don't really like come back. Like you said, we're a very emotional team. We have these like mostly downs this season, but sometimes we've even like previous years we've had ups and downs. We kind of ride those. But when we went down 2-1 on the road, I thought there was no way we were coming back, especially with the way our offense has been all year. Like I was very surprised to see we actually not only got a point, managed to get 3 points. That must really boost confidence because now if we do find ourselves in the same position again, we know that we do have the ability to possibly get a point or possibly even get 3 points, which is really good psychologically for the rest of the season. And just finding that road goal and getting 3 goals in a game, I think just really is going to help a lot overall,
Yeah,
more
and
than
I
just
think
this game.
also another thing too, it's like the also the way that RSL scored that second goal off a free kick. It almost felt like, again, like I said, Raheem made the foul that caused the free kick. At sometimes that maybe the players thought like, hey, like we gave him this goal in that sense, but at the same time, like we said, they didn't really fall and just stayed on the ground. They like picked themselves up even after that great goal, which by the way, it really was a good goal by RSL and by Pablo Ruiz. But still though, it was just something that like even after that goal, you were just kind of like, oh, this team's just gonna fall. And they didn't. They rose up to the occasion and they got the 3 points. And honestly, that's like something we haven't seen, and almost shocking, or I mean not almost, it was pretty shocking to see
It was very shocking.
considering they haven't done that all season. But yeah, it's still though it was shocking, but it was great to see. You love to see it, honestly.
Still sucks though because there's still so much work to do to get back into a respectable position. Like we're still in the wooden spoon race right now, currently last in the league. We're 3 points behind the last place team in the East. So even like with this good win, there's still so much work to be done this season if we want to try to turn this around.
No, yeah, of course. I mean, there's still a lot to work to be done, and it was like, again, I think this it was a good win because of the comeback, but we still got conceded 2 goals in a sense. It's like, there's still things to be improved, and obviously, like um, but also there's a lot of games left, right? In a sense, so it's
We're at the halfway point, so there you could, I guess you can kind of argue that, but
like the Galaxy would need to make the push now. Like I
yeah,
mean that's the idea. It's like you need to make the push now, which again it is sort of easier this season because of the fact of the expanded playoffs and stuff like that. And like,
playing, yeah.
yeah, so it's like in a sense there is still a lot of time left, and as much as people don't really see that, like there's still a lot of time.
It
And
just for me, it just feels like the margin for error is just too small. Like we lost so many games like throughout the whole year. It's like how many more can we afford to lose? And like realistically, when you look at this Galaxy team, they're gonna lose like some more games. Like this is not just it. Like after all those losses kind of pile up at the end, like even if we do become better, is it still enough? Like for me, it's probably not.
I mean, again, I mean it really is depending on how this, because again, we always say when they get a win, it's like, is this the turning point? Is this the
It's
turning point?
always
Like this
been
was a
no,
great this was a great win. And it sort of does feel like a turning point, but at the
no, it
same time,
doesn't.
it's like, but
We gotta see more than one.
at the same time, we've seen it time and time again that there hasn't been a turning point. And so like as much as this felt like a really great win, it's like we really need to see it at this point, game by game, and how consistent they can be, right? So but again, there is still a lot of games. I do agree that I guess the margin for error is getting lower by the game. So it's like you have to get these points no matter what. Um,
Some tough games too. Like we dropped some points to some easy teams we should beat at home, like Colorado and Charlotte. Like now you're gonna have to go on the road, maybe to St. Louis, maybe to Seattle, and try to get these points that you did not pick up at home. You're gonna have to
right,
win harder games.
right, exactly. Which again, the June schedule seems doable. So maybe this month could be a month where the Galaxy can
I don't know about
make a
that.
push. It is kind of doable when you look
No,
at it. I mean,
I
I
don't know.
guess we'll get into that later, but like I just feel like
I
the
think
June
it's tough though.
schedule could be. it's definitely easier than what we dealt with May. And which, by the way, in May we went 4 for 4 in all competition. So realistically, like, are you like super mad about that? I guess it doesn't really tell the
What do
whole
you mean?
story, but even then, 4 for 4.
Was that mean the record or?
Yeah, I mean or 4 wins, 4 losses in the
Yeah,
month of
but
May.
like two MLS Next Pro teams, I don't know.
Well, regardless though, would you rather have them lost those games? No. Like,
No,
I mean,
no.
exactly. So you're gonna take the wins regardless. But still though, I mean, I guess it doesn't tell the full story. But when you look at that schedule, they still managed to make something out of it, I guess. But anyways, like I said earlier, let's talk about some players. Any players that stood out to you in this game? Anybody that kind of disappointed you? I know one that really disappointed me.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to really say. I think it was a collective team effort overall. Like when we conceded goals, it kind of felt like overall like a team error, and when we scored, it felt like I guess sort of a team goal in a sense. Actually, that's I don't know, it's kind of incorrect, but what I'm trying to say is I feel like a lot of players kind of were on similar levels this game. Like there's no one that was really particularly great, but there's no one that was like terrible. Well, there's some players that were like pretty bad, but I feel like relatively like a lot of people did their jobs pretty well. They stayed together, they're on a similar level, and they did what they needed to do at the end of the day, which was good to see. But I wouldn't really say anyone stood out or like really that negatively stood out.
I'll tell you one guy who negatively stood out to me,
Oh
and that
yeah.
was Efra. That was the guy who really,
He was pretty
which
bad,
is
yeah.
which is surprising to hear you not bring his name. Like, I thought you would have came into the game
Honestly,
bringing
maybe I kind of just forgot what happened in that game. It's been a little while. I mean, it's almost been a week now.
that is true. That is
Let's
true.
be a little fair.
It has been a while since. I mean, it's Monday right now. It's almost shit. We're almost to next Wednesday. So, I mean, I guess that makes sense.
I
But
did forget a little bit what I saw.
yeah, but which, by the way, which is good. I guess I wouldn't want to remember that either, that performance either. But no, if there's one guy who really stood out to me in a very
Effort's
negative
performance, do
way.
you mean, or
What's up?
do you mean the Effort's performance I wouldn't want to remember?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's so I guess that's a good thing for you.
oh,
Um,
okay.
but but anyways, yeah, that was a guy who stood out to me in a very negative way. Which, yeah, I mean, dude, like, I know these past couple weeks we've been saying like, hey, give the guy a chance. At this point, what do you got to lose? And Vanny did, and also with Gino Vivi. But like,
He was solid though. I think
I will say this: Gino Vivi and FR played the same, but I think you have more. Obviously, the patience is more with Vivi because that was his first MLS start, first or second start in general in all competitions this season. But you saw again, you see Vivi. He's like, okay, he still needs some time. Maybe he can get some potential, and maybe some. The more minutes he gets better. But Efra, it's like, man, like that was bad. Like, I mean, like literally every touch he had was like the ball was taken away so easily, and it was almost like stealing candy from a baby. Like, as much as that's like a very cliche saying, like it really was. Like, the man did not look good. He, like, I guess he had some few instances, but like for the most part, it was like, no, yeah, like the guy did not look like he belonged there at all. And it's pretty sad to see it. Like, it isn't even like to the point where like, oh, we got to get rid of him, which I think it is. But like, also, once we get rid of him, it could honestly, like, and this
he'll
might be
help
a
him.
hot take for me, but it's like it might be career ending for Efra if he doesn't get it together. Like,
I think he could strive somewhere else. I've seen this situation a lot of times where players play really bad at one club and then they go to another club and then they turn out great, new environment, new training staff. So I think he can do well in another club, but certainly it's time to move on from this one for him.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I saw that and I was like, yeah, there's a reason why you're in the doghouse in general. And you know, and also I really don't want to talk about his shape, like his like physical shape, because listen, I'm a fat guy. I shouldn't be talking about anybody's weight.
I can talk about it.
But yeah, you can talk about it, but regardless, I'm still gonna say it. The guy does not look like he's in shape at all for a professional athlete, and for a guy who said that he was going to a nutritionist and trying to eat better and be in better shape, it did not look like that at all. Like, I just didn't see it. Like, I really didn't.
He cut 6 Big Macs down to 4 Big Macs a day.
I mean, if that counts, but you're still eating Big Macs, man. Um,
It's
I don't know if
improvement though.
Efra's eating Big Macs, but hopefully he's not. But it's still though, regardless what he like, regardless his shape, he doesn't look in shape.
It's funny because people on Twitter always say like they see him going to like the store and buying junk food, and then he puts like his hoodie over his head. I don't know if that's true, but if that is true, that'd be kind of funny.
Well, I don't know if that's true either. So allegedly, maybe that is the case, but I mean, hopefully that's not the case, dude, because you shouldn't be doing that as an athlete. And
Uh,
like I said, I'm kind of surprised that I'm giving Efra a lot of crap, not you, but you know,
Honestly, I think I just kind of forgot about the game a little bit. Like I didn't completely remember the whole team performance, but I remember some of the big moments and the moments that we really needed to execute, and we did. So
that's true. I guess the win really
yeah,
overshined that whole
it's funny because
performance,
every
but
every time we win, I don't really like focus like on negatives that much. Pretty much.
I mean, but it was kind of hard to not focus on that. It was just like,
Oh, he
especially
was
when it was
bad. Yeah,
zero
he was pretty
zero.
bad.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it's just like I just really that was bad. Like that was pretty bad. Like that's the only negative I would want to say. And there wasn't really much after that either. But
I think Aude was kind of a negative. I think Aude was kind of a negative that game. I don't think he played that well again. I mean, he wasn't as bad as he was in the Charlotte game, which, to be fair, it'd be pretty hard to be as bad as he was there. But I still don't think he had that good of a game. Looks like he's carrying an injury, maybe, or something's not right with him. He doesn't look quite right now.
maybe who knows? I mean, also this I don't know how that has dealt with altitude before. Yeah, I don't know
Oh,
if
it's
there's any
fair, true.
places. I don't know if there's any places in Argentina that's really high up, but like,
There is, I think.
but I don't know how high up as RSL. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah, I don't know.
but who knows? Like maybe that was also a factor. But I would agree that Aldo didn't have that great of a game. But but it wasn't terrible. It was definitely wasn't Charlotte where he was getting like cooked and stuff like that. But
Yeah, that's horrible.
yeah, that was pretty bad. But in this one, maybe it could have been altitude and stuff like that. But who knows? But yeah, other than that, that's probably like the only negative thing about the about the game. But other than that, like I would agree, everybody on the team did what they did, and people stepped up and they got the job done. And so that's really the overshines the whole thing. But yeah, I can't really for positive. I can't really take just one person in my opinion.
Yeah. The only other negative was we gave up another goal on a corner kick. I mean, this is getting kind of ridiculous now.
It is get it yeah that is kind of ridiculous as well. I mean, we haven't been good at set pieces at all. Like it's
Needs to
not even
stop
just the
though.
season, it's just in general we haven't been good at set pieces, which is something we really need to address. And I don't know if that means bringing in somebody to design set piece or focus on defensive like
Imagine
set
that though.
pieces, but
The
like
set piece specialist.
yeah, like well that's a thing. Like I mean
Is
that
that
somebody
is
has
that that's not actually a
that
thing.
isn't
Like I
actually a
know
thing. Like the
assistant coaches or coaches work on that, but like they don't have like someone they bring in that's called the set piece specialist. I'm pretty sure.
well, not a specialist, but it's like there is people who do definitely focus on that, and whoever is the one who focuses on that, they need to do a better job.
Maybe we need the motivational speaker too.
I forgot about the motivational speaker. Who knows? Maybe we do need that.
They help
We
us
need them
through
on the
set
sideline
pieces.
every time there's like a set piece.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
can
guys,
do
get this out.
it. That would
Yeah,
be funny.
that can work. Yeah, that would be.
um, but anyways, yeah, that's it for players, and I think that's pretty much it for the game in general. Unless you have any other points you want to talk about.
I mean, there's a few other guys that I thought were positive. Caligari was very good that game. He was very physical, getting up and down the field. It's something I've been critical about him a lot. I've always said he's not attacking enough. And this game, I think we saw more attacking. And eventually it did pay off with that cross. It was a very good cross. And Caligari also did some other things I liked. He did a lot of good skill moves. Obviously, leading up to that Memo Rodriguez goal. I don't know if you remember that, but he did like this really good kind of step over move through two defenders. And that got the ball to Rodriguez. And I think Caligari is doing a lot of really good things to contribute to this team. And hopefully he keeps that up because I really do want to see him attacking more because I think he has the quality to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think he has the defensive makeup. It's just now getting him on the offense, which is something that we need him to do more. And he did good this game to do that for both those goals. For the Memo goal and for the Boyd goal. Like that's something that we haven't really seen from him, and we saw it this game. And that was pretty good. Another player I actually want to bring up before we move on is also Brugman, who was also like I guess one of the players for the match week and stuff like that. He did pretty good. I think this was one of his best games of the season. And yeah, like I mean, Brugman didn't look like we've kind of been critical of Brugman a little bit this season, but this one was like almost like, yeah, this is what we've been used to from Brugman from last season. And he showed up this game and also in the penalty, he looked good in that too. Brugman is also another player I would want to shout out in that game as well.
Brugman's our new pen taker until he misses, I guess. But
I've noticed that. Like I feel like that's kind of Vanny's rule. Is just like whoever misses, next guy up. Because
yeah,
think about
that's
how
fair
many
though.
people have already missed a penalty this season. So
Not even just this season, even last season, that was a big issue.
yeah, that too. It's like once Chicharito missed, boom, you're done. Ricky misses, boom, you're done. Next guy up. It's like, that's a good thing. My funny enough, my dad actually did that like with when he coached. He was like, whoever misses a penalty, you're done. It's the next guy who I want to do for the penalty, which is a
He,
good thing because it kind of shows you like, hey, like, once you get it going again, like I'll give it back to you. But for now, like you're done
That's
for.
fair. That's a
Yeah.
fair point. I also
Yeah.
thought Jovic, like I don't think he was great, but I do think he was a little bit more involved as a star. Like for the third goal, he did switch the ball out wide, and that was a great play to recognize from him. And I think he did a better job trying to get himself more involved. And I still think we have a lot of work to do with Jovic trying to get him more adjusted to the tactics this team plays. But I do think he at least had a better effort stepping up.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. And hey, you know what? He gets another win on his starting record, I guess. You know,
It went from like 13% to 15% or something like
yeah.
that.
Hey, you know what? I'd rather be at 15 than 13. So,
Next
I
game we'll
guess
get it to 17.
yeah, 17 is the next step. But no,
It
yeah, I
is.
do agree. Jovic did look better in this game. We just got to get him involved in those goals. But yeah, I would agree on that. But yeah, I think that's it for the game. Unless you have any other points you want to talk about.
Yeah, I really do want to see Jovic start scoring because I do think he has the quality to be a great MLS striker, but those goals need to start going in for him. And I feel like once he gets a couple in, then like he might start getting a lot more. But until like let's say Chicharito is struggling this season with his fitness, he's aging a lot. We're gonna really need Jovic, and I just hope he can find a way to step up pretty soon.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope he finds a way to step up because we like Jovic and we want to see him to succeed. And he's had those successions that and last season and stuff like that. So like we want to see him do good.
You know, it'd be
Um,
so great for the Galaxy if Jovic can get adjusted to our tactics, play really well as a starter. Then we have two DP spots to use next year outside of the striker position. That'd be very nice.
yeah, it would be really nice to see, because he always says like he's the future of this team, and I want him to be the future of this team.
We all do.
Like I really, we all root for him. We want him to succeed, and any player we want to succeed, really, despite how critical we are on some of them. Like we want everybody to succeed,
Of course.
and hopefully, Jovic finds his way as like whenever he gets those starts this season. But hopefully, he finds his way.
Those starts are going to be there for him too. Like you can tell Chicharito is starting to slow down a lot. So
Yeah, I mean, and who knows what happens this after the season, right? So it's like, I don't, who knows? A lot is yet to be, I guess, a lot to question after the season. But we'll get to that at the end of the season. But yeah, hopefully we see Jovic step up a little bit more. All right, then. But now that we're done with RSL, let's go into RSL. I guess, considering that we play them next in the U.S. Open Cup. I mean, I guess we really should have talked, kind of mixed both of those, the preview and the recap. But anyways, we go up against RSL again this week, in the U.S. Open. We saw a lot of things from both teams, and honestly, like, how do we approach this one? Because now both teams know each other. They're fresh off of playing each other. And like I said last week, it was kind of sort of like a film study, like, or like an in-game film study for them. And both teams got to see what they're capable of. So like, how do we approach this game? Of course, it's one and done. We got to win this one in order to move on. So yeah, how do we approach RSL again at RSL?
oh, we approached them with all our starting lineup and hopefully just I guess more the same. Try to find a way to win in a tough place to play. It's going to be a difficult game. Both teams really want this cup and they should want this cup. It's we're getting kind of closer to the end of the tournament and there's a lot to play for at this point. So hopefully we can find a way to win and winning this cup would be great. So hopefully we go all in for it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we need to go all in. It's the quarterfinals, and something that I kind of disappointed me from last year's U.S. Open Cup run was that we didn't go all in the quarterfinals against, a
I think we will
Sacramento
this time.
team. And this, yeah, and hopefully, I just hope that now that we see that, hey, we fucked up last year. Let's go all in for this one, because at this point, we keep saying it. It's another trophy to play for. It's another trophy to win. And yeah, this is going to be a difficult game, of course, just because, not only because it's RSL and the atmosphere and what the implications are, but also just because of the fact that we just played them. So both teams are going to be ready. Both teams are going to be on the lookout to see what they can do. And I think this might be a closer game than last week. I mean, last week was pretty close because it was 3-2, but I don't think it'll be as high scoring, I guess, just considering the fact that it again fresh off the game, and
More
we'll
defensive.
see how it
Yeah.
is. But yeah, I think this might be much closer and with a much lower score line is what I'll say.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And that makes sense too. Like teams aren't going to want to take risk in an elimination game. They're going to want to try to feel the game out. And that makes sense if it's low scoring. It should be that way.
Yeah. So but yeah, I think it's going to be difficult to go up against RSL, and hopefully we win because I mean, again, it's another step to a trophy, and I mean we're
Well,
in a dire need of one. So
we've always said this. The path is manageable right here. Like you see RSL, like RSL is a good team, but they're not like one of the best teams in MLS. Then you get Houston or Chicago. They've been consistently towards the bottom of the table over recent years. And then, I mean, you might get Cincinnati. That's a very tough game. Or I don't know who else is there on the East Coast. I think it's
you
who is
have
it? You know?
I think you have Cincinnati against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and
Yeah.
then you have fuck, who's the other one?
You want to check?
I forget the other one in the East, but I know I know Birmingham Legion is the one, the USL team, the other USL team. I just don't know who they're going up against.
I'm gonna check real quick. I'm actually kind of curious. Hold up.
Yeah, I'm curious too
US.
because I really don't.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So if the Galaxy do beat RSL, we would play the winner of Chicago Houston, which is definitely manageable. Oh, it's Inter Miami versus Birmingham Legion.
Oh, okay.
So Inter Miami is currently the worst team in the East. If the Galaxy could beat RSL, which is a tough game, then you would play Houston or Chicago, which is definitely winnable. And then you got either Cincinnati or probably Miami in the final, more likely, unless one of the USL teams wins. So when you look at this path, it's very manageable. And this trophy is a legit trophy that we really do have a chance of winning, but we need to go all in for it. We need to play smart, and we just really need to try to get this done because it would be a really big deal. I mean, after the Post Klein era, too, imagine bringing in a trophy after you just got fired. That would really say a lot about how the spirit of the team turned around. The fans would be a lot happier. So I really hope the players are motivated to win this and we can find a way to keep pushing through this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, if it is possible that we win this one, can you imagine like again, everyone's gonna just be like, "I told you so." Klein was the reason, which I mean he was, but like Klein is the reason. Look what we just did in a month after his departure.
He
We
wasn't
won a
just, he
trophy.
was a good reason. He wasn't the only reason, I'd say.
No, I know, but I'm just saying he was like the main reason. But
He was
like,
a big reason, yeah.
yeah, so it's like if the Galaxy win a trophy, it's like, oh, it's like it just goes to show like how poor management it was all
that'd
these
be
years.
that'd be kind of strange though, because like we still have the same team he formed. Like we really haven't gotten to transition out of that yet. But imagine like just him leaving would change everything already.
Yeah, I mean, it would be kind of insane, which,
Still a
I
long
mean,
ways to go. There's still a lot of work to do.
yeah, still a lot of work to do, but it would be kind of cool. Like it would be just insane to like win a trophy like right when he just departs. But
I hope we get to that point.
I hope we do. But yeah, I mean, there's still one game at a time, of course, for the U.S. Open. That's always how you got to take it. And
Of course.
you're right. Like I just looking at this bracket and these games, it's not manageable, but it's doable. There is a path to get to this final
And
and
win it.
win it. Yeah, I really do have like I mean, I don't know if I want to put all my faith into it, but I have some faith into it. Like,
I mean, if we're not gonna play good in the regular season, we might as well go all in on this.
yeah, I mean, yeah, one game at a time. We're just gonna have to see how it goes and hope for the best. But
You can only hope for the best.
yeah, we can only hope for the best. But
Of
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a close game on Wednesday, and hopefully we come out victorious in that one. So that's all we can hope for.
course.
But anyways, yeah. Now that we're done with RSL, I guess we can talk about St. Louis. That's going to happen on Sunday at 10 a.m., which is like a really early kickoff
Oh,
time.
so 7 a.m. for me in Italy. Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna say like
I can wake up.
it's really good for you. Like it's
7 p.m. All right.
it's a good game
That's
for you to
fair.
be in Europe to watch it, I guess.
Very
Yeah,
good.
10 a.m. game at St. Louis. St. Louis right now, top of the West. They're doing good. For I mean, they're doing great for an expansion team. I mean, just they're doing great. So at St. Louis, good atmosphere so far this season as well. They have good players. Um, yeah, man. How do you feel about this game? How do you feel about going into St. Louis?
This game's gonna really say a lot. Like, is it gonna show that our win versus RSL was not a fluke and that we're really onto something since Klein got fired, or was it just a one game sort of just kind of a fluke and then we're kind of just back to who we were? I mean, St. Louis is a very good team. I think tactically they're one of the best teams in MLS. They have very good coaching, very good players that understand the game well. I don't think they have the most talented team, but one thing they're a very smart team and they play very good just all around, especially at home. They have a really good crowd and it's a very tough team. If we can get anything from that game, I think that would be a really good result. And if the Galaxy do manage to win that game, I think that would really say a lot. It might give me a lot more confidence going through the rest of the season.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, can you imagine if the last place team in the West beats the first place team? Like that'd be kind of
They're
crazy.
first or second, I think. I'm not sure. I think they're one
They're
of the two.
well, No, St. Louis is in first, and we're in last right now. So I'm looking at the
Oof,
standings right now. But
that's
um,
unfortunate.
yeah, it's unfortunate. But can you imagine if we did, as the last place team being the first place team?
And MLS is possible though.
Yeah, it's possible. I will say this: going into St. Louis, they are an expansion team, and I think recently, and I think just in general, historically, Galaxy have played well against expansion teams, like in the first game.
Especially, yeah. Well, it's more our Dignity Health Sports Park. We've played better against them on the road. It hasn't really been that good, actually.
Oh, but regardless, though, I feel like because I think what last year, we beat Charlotte and Charlotte, they were expansion team. The year before that, we beat Austin in Austin, I think, as well.
No, no, we lost them 2-0 in Austin. We beat them 2-0 at the Digs.
I could have sworn we. Oh no, I was thinking about last year when we beat them. Never mind then. I
Yeah, that
was
was not
wrong.
expansion
But
team.
uh,
Yeah.
but anyways, regardless, I feel like Galaxy kind of have this. They do play well against expansion teams. Who knows how they do against St. Louis? But yeah, I mean, St. Louis is a tough team. I mean, also another thing for St. Louis, I feel like they know how to capitalize on teams' mistakes, which is something that we
Very well.
constantly do. Is the little mistakes, and how many goals have St. Louis done off of mistakes? Like quite a bit this season. So
Yeah, like people make fun of them, like, oh, they only score lucky goals, they only capitalize off teams' mistakes. But if they capitalize off these mistakes, mistakes happen throughout the game a lot of times. And if they're good at it, that's how they play. I mean, you can't blame them for that. That's how they like to get their goals, and it works for them.
yeah, I mean, are you going to complain if it gets you a win? No, right? You're going to be okay with that. But regardless, it's like St. Louis knows how to capitalize on those mistakes. The Galaxy is a team that does a lot of mistakes in games, and if they don't find a way, basically to almost play near perfect,
I don't know
St.
about
Louis,
perfect, but definitely pretty well and take
yeah, I
chances.
mean, but St. Louis is going to find a way if we keep doing these mistakes, and if we keep doing those mistakes, that could be the end of us for that game, and it could be a pretty big deficit if we do a lot of mistakes. So, but yeah, I think just that's the goal: minimize the mistakes and play how you played against RSL.
More or
um,
less, yeah.
yeah, that's basically the keys of the game going into St. Louis. But yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a tough game, and hopefully we get something out of it, and hopefully we also win the U.S. Open Cup game as well. But yeah, double week game, not easy, and we were well rested considering we didn't play the MLS week over the weekend, so it's like we're well rested. I guess we have the players. Hopefully, we get the results. That's all we can hope for.
Yeah, we've yet to win 2 games in a row, I believe, this season in MLS play, and this is a chance to do it. And if we do it on the road, I mean, that would say a lot. I think that would give the players even more confidence than they might have after that RSL game. And I think it would bring a really good vibe to the team. So hopefully they can find a way to get this done.
Yeah, I hope so too. Like I said, they have the talent. It's just a matter of getting the job done.
I still think we need like some wingers though to give us some wide play, some wide quality. But overall, I do think that some of these players can string some results together if they get things clicking on the right note.
Yeah, I mean, I will say another thing I forgot to mention in the recap is I like Memo Moore coming off the bench. So hopefully that's another thing that goes into this week is that
So I
maybe
guess you're
not
right with
start
Vivi
Memo.
again.
What's up?
You're probably going to start Vivi again in that case, aren't you?
I
Probably.
mean, would you
He played
would
all
you
right.
be okay? Would you be okay with that? I mean, I
Yeah,
would I would I would be okay with that.
I think he was actually solid. Like you said, like he played kind of like Alvarez. I kind of disagree. I think he did some solid things and played pretty well.
Yeah.
Not like great, but like decently well. He looked like he belonged in MLS at the very least.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. Like I said that about Vivi in his first game. I think he looks like he belongs, and I think that's another key to going into these games is that Memo is clearly better coming off the bench, and if you put him on the bench and put him in the second half at some point, he's going to do you some stuff. And I think that's
Hopefully,
another thing going forward when it comes to our wingers. Like we may not have the best ones, but if we use them
or
if we
just
use
ones in
them
general.
yeah, I mean in general, but if we use what we have wisely, I think we can do something with it. But in general, I think that's another point we can come across. But
Well, I wonder where Costa is. It's been like past his timeline right now for being injured.
yeah, it was like 4 weeks, right? We're almost
Yeah,
getting into five. Like, I mean, what's up with
more
that?
than that. He got injured like after that Orlando game. When was that? Like in April, I think. I mean, we're almost at like nearly 2 months.
I think that was the end of April, though. It was like right before May, so it's like it's been
Yeah, I'm
about
not
four
sure.
weeks. It's been about
Maybe,
4 weeks, but
maybe he can give us something. Like you always said, you doubted. I think he can give us a little something if he stays on the field, which is probably not going to happen. But if he does stay on the field, he can give us a little bit of quality in the attack, and we'll see what happens there.
I mean, yeah, who knows? Who knows? What if he gets arrested? He still has a warrant on him. So you never know what happens with Costa. So
What if he like he scores and then he does like a criminal celebration? He has like his hands up,
he has his hands behind his back, just like someone's blocking. That would be kind of insane.
That'd be fun.
That would be insane.
It wouldn't surprise me if he did it though, knowing him. He's bound to do something like that.
I mean, we hope Costa comes back at some point and hopefully not arrested. But yeah, I guess we're gonna have to see.
Or if he does get arrested, hopefully give us our DP spot back.
I mean, at this point, you have to, right? Because I mean, if he can't play for us, that has to open up something.
It would. We'd probably use it in the winter though.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, Costa comes back and he's not in jail. Anyways, I think that's it for our previews, I guess, unless you had any other things to say.
No, I mean I'm gonna be waking up early for these Galaxy games the next couple of weeks, so hopefully they deliver.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. Luckily, the St. Louis one is friendly for you. It'll be like 7 over there. So
Yeah, 7 at night. That's actually really good. I like that time.
yeah, that
Really
is
nice.
good. I mean, it sucks for us because that means I have to wake up early to watch those games.
I'll take it though. Like for that's gonna be kind of funny because the Open Cup game is on Wednesday at what time is it? 6:30.
I think it's at 6:30. Yeah.
So it's gonna be like 3:30 in the morning in Italy. But the funny thing is, I'm actually gonna be awake because I'm not gonna be used to the time change already. So I'm gonna be up watching that one, and I'll
Yeah.
be there. It'll be like my first day there. So like it'll work pretty well.
Yeah.
I'll go
You
in all
won't you
nighter.
won't have the whole jet lag and stuff like that. And the
No,
time zone,
there's
so.
a 9 hour time difference, so I should be good to go on that one.
All right, then. So yeah, it's an easy week for you to watch games, I guess.
Yeah,
Which
I'll probably still get up for the other ones too.
yeah, but anyways, but yeah, have fun at your trip, anyways. When you go to Italy, and we'll figure out the whole scheduling for our podcast. But yeah, anyways, I think that's gonna be it for the show. Can't thank you guys enough for watching and listening. If you guys want to follow us on social media, follow me at Insider Galaxy on Instagram, on Twitter. Go follow the Galaxy Central on Instagram. And yeah, I mean, thank you guys. And hopefully y'all have y'all are just good. Y'all are just happy. And, hopefully we get some points this weekend. But anyways, anything you want to say to the listeners before we go?
No, let's get some points.
All right, then let's get some points and let's move it on out. But yeah, thank you guys. Be a friend, tell a friend about the podcast whenever you're listening to this podcast. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day, rest of your night, whenever you're listening to this. And also, before we go, happy retirement, Zlatan. I mean,
Oh yeah, of course. It's been an honor.
Happy retirement, Zlatan. One of the greatest to ever play the game, not only just for the Galaxy, just ever to play the game. So I don't know if you want to say a couple words about Zlatan before we go as well.
Truly an incredible player. It was great to be able to watch him. I mean, obviously, we all kind of say like after like 2016, the Galaxy were very tough to watch. But I think one positive from those teams was Zlatan, just an amazing player overall, dominated each time on the field. And unfortunately, we didn't get the players around him to win silverware with him, but an incredible player. And I wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah, wish nothing but the best for Zlatan. And hopefully he comes back to LA just to visit at some point. Hopefully there was no like bad blood after leaving or anything like that. But
I think he's good with them.
Yeah, but hopefully he comes back. Hopefully he comes and visits. But anyway, yeah, happy retirement, Zlatan. We wish you nothing but the best. And of course, to everybody watching and listening, we wish you nothing but the best either. So thank you guys, and G's up.
7 words.